Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
What's with? Why do we got to play hard games all the time?
You don't have to play it. This is the thing. You complain about every game.
Depends. What are we talking about on the
I'm gonna
podcast
say
today?
you don't have to play it.
What's the topic?
They're like, no, I want to play it
later.
Are we talking about Suicide Squad?
Yes.
Some kind
Here,
of
do you want me to,
Suicide Squad.
Adam? No,
I
you
can
don't,
start.
do you?
I
You
can
don't want-
start. I can
okay.
start.
Yeah.
You got to intro the
Adam
show.
has
Do
stuff
you have
he
ad
wants to
reads?
say.
I do actually.
Okay, then I'll start off. You want to clap sync the game or no?
It looked like it was full screen windowed, but we can clap.
It
it.
hopped right in. You want to
Alright.
start?
Oh.
I'll do it on this one.
You want to go to options?
Or go up to start.
Sure.
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
All right.
Ooh.
Fucking full disclosure or whatever. Yes, this is from Full Screen and Screw Attack. We're playing them because they're our buddies. So if you like this game, you should buy it. Or 10 out of 10.
I never played. Did you play the first one? I played the first
Played
one
it a
for
little
like
bit.
3 seconds.
We played at E3.
At SGC last year.
I played Jump and Shoot Attack a lot on my phone. That's a good game.
I can't believe Craig made this by himself.
Yeah, it's weird.
I-
No man, I am so ready to not get any of these in jokes. I stopped watching Angry Video Game Nerd in like 2005.
I watched it for a really long time. It was really good,
That's
but
good,
then
yeah.
it became these like I liked watching. The problem is I liked watching him play the game, and then
Yeah.
he'd be like, all right, I'm gonna
You got a
break
little
out and
more
do a really
skit-heavy.
cool sketch, and I would always go, God, man, this sketch is really well written, and they worked really hard on it. I wish I was just watching him play the game.
Kind of how I felt about
kickstarted
Mystery
this
Science
movie,
Theater.
Oh, look at him, he flipped you
He
off.
started his
Nice.
movie, right?
I did. Oh, I think it was Indiegogo, but yeah,
So-
I contributed to it.
so you see
Now
that-
I have a signed autograph.
So that platform is on?
Yeah.
I can't see that.
Oh,
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's fine.
What if I-
Yeah, I'm just so when I die a lot. Oh, that's better.
yeah. Welcome to an 8-bitty difficult jumpy shooty game of Dude Soup. Sorry, still getting over some drainage. This episode of Dude Soup is brought to you by Loot Crate. You can go to lootcrate.com/dudesoup and enter code DUDESOUP for $3 off any new subscription. So thank you for your sponsorship. Got a couple of topics to talk about today.
Yes, sir.
I guess sure, fuck it. We'll start off with this. We got a lot of trailers, a lot of cool ones coming out lately. Yeah, sure, fuck it. Let's start with Suicide Squad, because
Must be some kind of suicide trailer.
What is this? Some kind of podcast squad?
what if Superman busted into this podcast right now,
Ripped
and
off the roof.
stole Adam? Who would play the game? We need some kind of Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I guess you would play the game.
I love how.
If Adam
Yeah, I guess
left.
I would just take the controller. I love how. So I get it. Oof.
Why does that kill you? It just floats
It's a
there.
You gotta
Controller.
can you shoot it?
I don't know. Anyway, sorry, playing the angry video game. Oh, okay.
I
Oh,
didn't even try.
I did, but it's in a weird place.
Oh,
Anyway,
you gonna say
continue.
about soups?
What's that? What?
You gonna say something about soups?
Oh, sorta.
What if Superman ripped the president's head off?
I don't know. It's just kind of funny that it betrays the premise immediately of like, Superman is an angry god. He can just bust in here and kill the president. We need a guy that could shoot guns real good.
Well, say what you need to say, and then I'll defend this thing. Not that I have any stake in this sort of thing, but I guess I'm getting a little tired of people shitting on things that I like or things that I want to just enjoy because I like to enjoy
I
things.
see.
You can still enjoy them.
So
I
okay.
do, but
So I'm playing the heel. I got to shit on it.
go ahead for it.
Oh,
Go for it.
Well, I guess I
you
have
can just
been.
play skeptic.
Skeptic.
Sometimes
okay, sure.
skeptic. People assume skeptic means bad guy. It doesn't.
I guess where I'm at right now, I feel exactly like I felt after I saw X-Men Origins Wolverine, where I'm like, man, fuck this shit. I am done. I don't want to watch any more of your dumb crap. You're just trying, and you're not even trying that hard.
For which one?
For
X-Men
Suicide Squad.
Oh, X-Men Origins?
Wolverine.
I'm comparing.
Oh, Wolverine. Sorry. Oh, okay.
So
That's a strange
So I
comparison,
saw,
but go on.
Well, no, let me.
I want to hear it. Yeah.
So I saw X-Men 3, garbage. Saw X-Men Origins Wolverine, hot garbage. But like not. I feel like in 10 years, X-Men Origins Wolverine is going to be something that I show to people while serving them margaritas because it's going to be a fucking terrible movie.
We did that with Batman Forever, and it was great.
Yeah, it was great. Although even Batman Forever is a better movie than X-Men Origins Wolverine. God, shit. So
we figured out, we solved Batman Forever while we were watching
did.
it,
Yeah.
I think.
we did. It's true. So where I feel right now in terms of DC properties after Man of Steel and then Batman v Superman is that there may be people in the process that genuinely like, understand, and want to do right by the source material, but it seems so bogged down with a bunch of people who don't get it, but get money and want money. So when it comes to Batman v Superman, like Zack Snyder made a pretty awesome 2.5-hour Batman v Superman film, and then had to compromise that for the sake of it leading to Justice League, essentially. And that was what I consider to be, from my outside and ignorant perspective, force of studios. So studios like, we need a franchise, we need all this stuff. Zack Snyder, you're gonna have to chop 30 minutes out of your movie and force in all this dumbass Justice League shit. So I feel like Suicide Squad is essentially somebody at DC headquarters, which I'm now picturing as like this onyx obelisk towering over
I
Mordor.
think it's just Warner Brothers with the water tower.
No.
The Animaniacs are inside there.
It's an evil factory. There's just some guy in there who saw the box office returns from Guardians of the Galaxy and was like, yes, we could have that too. Which is essentially like all of DC's movies post Marvel Cinematic Universe are just like, we want that too. And to me, that's what Suicide Squad feels like.
Okay.
And I don't see a spark of originality there. It's even down to like the fucking late 70s, early 80s pop songs in the trailers, man. Like it's almost exactly the same thing, except way less charismatic or original because Guardians got there first. So I don't know. Personally, I've yet to see a spark of creative originality to that movie, which I feel terrible saying because a lot of I feel like there is in that creative process there are a lot of people who genuinely care and want it to be a great movie, except it's being compromised by a bunch of like what I imagine to be like Wall Street fat cats who are wringing their hands together and
Suits?
salivating.
Like,
Yeah.
It's funny because I'll tell you what I think of it in a minute, but don't you feel like it's the kind of it's so far from what we've seen, it feels like the kind of superhero movie that would have been attempted to be made in like 2002.
What, Suicide Squad?
That's how I feel about DC's.
Yeah.
Like
I think you're right.
I
They're
don't
very,
know.
very shallow cast of characters.
Yeah, it just seems. And I'm not a big Suicide Squad fan. Like Justice League, I was a little bit more into, or the prospect of a Justice League movie, just because I was kind of into Grant Morrison's Justice League, and Suicide Squad, I'm kind of like whatever. So I guess my question to you guys is, what would a good Suicide Squad movie need?
That's a good question. That's a harder one than just shitting on what I see.
So I think I have no idea, but if I thought that there would be an audience out there that would be going, what does Suicide Squad need? I probably wouldn't jump at the opportunity to make a Suicide Squad movie, unless I was like, fuck, we got no one else. We already put Cyborg in this other one, and he sucks. So I guess that's the thing. That being said, I was not really concerned at all about Guardians of the Galaxy as it was coming out, and then it still reigns as probably my favorite.
I think it is the best
Marvel movie.
Absolutely.
But that's also because it hinged its own identity and didn't seem to rely at all on anything else that these Marvel movies kind of established.
Well, I guess my next question is, Suicide Squad are the anti-heroes in this film, essentially. Do you think that DC is setting this up for some kind of civil war of their own, where it's Justice League versus Suicide Squad, but it's like, who are we rooting for? Because they're all our heroes.
So technically, that'd be a no contest. Everyone in the Justice League is at least 100 times
can obliterate them.
better than anyone in Suicide Squad. With the caveat that they can't kill anyone, and Suicide Squad theoretically could.
Yes.
Batman's wrecking fools.
I mean,
Oh
Yeah,
no,
he murdered everybody.
They're murdering.
No, he's good
people.
now. He's good now because
So
Superman
this
said
is
Martha.
the way I see it. I
Those
do
cute
not.
little sushis back there.
That's great. I
playing-
do not think that a bunch of executives saw Guardians of the Galaxy and went, "Wow, we should do that."
we need some kind of Suicide
I feel like
Squad.
30 years ago they were like, "What do we do with this thing we bought?" We bought DC, and they kept trying to do it, and then go ahead. And then at some point, Marvel was like, "Oh, I could do that. We could do the exact same thing." And now DC's going, "Shit, they did it. They did that thing we were trying to do." This is essentially, I don't know. It's like a good example is like an operating system. Like Xerox made the modern GUI that we know that we use today, but Microsoft and Apple made it work.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what Marvel did. There's like this whole idea is not really original. All the characters are kind of ripoffs of each other anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It was just Marvel figured it out, and now DC's trying to play catch up, and they probably they see things like Guardians of the Galaxy, but I don't think they're using it as a template. What I think Suicide Squad does is it acts as a very quick way to introduce a lot of villains to a universe that they're trying to play catch up with. That's all it really does.
Yeah, but that just all goes to Lawrence's point of they're not necessarily concerned about quality. They're just thinking about that money.
Well, yeah.
Which again, that's totally fine excuse. The entertainment industry is a business.
Sure.
It is not a charity.
Movies are commercial
They're
art,
not
yeah.
just making movies to entertain us, to make us happy as people. They are making movies to make money.
What's nice though is that at some point down the line, in the late or early 2000s or whatever, someone figured out, oh, you can do both. You can make an X-Men movie, and it doesn't have to suck complete balls, and it can be entertaining.
Yeah.
And it can make people happy if you just kind of throw a nod or a wink this way and go, hey, we've read the comics. We know that there's there's some history there. So, and now you have things where it's Deadpool, and he's just basically screaming at you in the face saying, we get it. We're going to put Cable in the next one.
I guess the thing, too, is it's important to remember that, and I try and do this a lot, because it's easy to be critical, but it's important to remember that you can decide you want to make something good, but then there's still the actual hurdle of making something good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I fixed
hard.
Batman v Superman. That was pretty easy.
Yeah, you just said words.
I just had my notes.
You
Yeah.
just sent them your notes, and then that fixed it.
No, they're like, oh, thanks, bro.
No, I didn't send it to them. They had to pay me for those notes.
Oh.
I'm holding out for a
but yeah,
contest.
so
I said
it's just like, I don't know. To me, it's just like, I feel the same way about Suicide. I watched the trailer, I was like, I really like the graphics that they used for the logos. Like, that seems cool and colorful. But then you're getting back to the movie, and it's not at all that. It doesn't seem. It does feel like they're still trying to figure it out.
From the viewpoint of just the trailer, I thought it was a good trailer. I'm not saying I thought it was a trailer that indicated a good movie. I'm saying I thought it was a well-made movie trailer. It was interesting. It looked fun. It didn't give away too much of the actual plot or story, like maybe the second Batman vs Superman trailer.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the movie's actually going to be any fun, or they just found the most exciting, interesting moments.
Well, that's the world we live in now too, where people go, "Ugh, they ruined it. They showed too much in the trailer," and then other people go, "I don't know what this movie's about. They didn't tell me nothing." It's like,
yeah.
Well, are you asking any questions? Are you at least somewhat interested? Yeah, totally. But I don't know who the main villain is or how the movie ends. You're like,
Well,
well, maybe you should pay and go see it.
Those are really basic questions. Not being unclear about certain things about it is different than going, I know what the whole plot is. My problem is they establish this. They have weird narrative conceits that kind of make sense if you're trying to figure out how to make a 2-hour very commercial film work.
Mm-hmm.
But in the trailer they have that, and you shouldn't need that in the trailer. You shouldn't ask the question, what do we do if Superman comes and decides he wants to go bad, right?
Okay.
What do we do? What do we do?
So I guess-
and then, but then the answer is give a guy some gun hands. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
We just watched Superman fight a god.
I'm gonna blow your mind right now, James.
All right.
Sometimes people in political power say things because they want something else, and so they're just saying what people want to hear, and they're gonna
Okay.
go, Mr. President, what if Superman killed him? He's like, oh, I don't. What do you need? I'll give you
That's-
whatever you want.
that's
So
totally
it's
fine.
it's fear mongering. That's all it is.
I know that's totally fine. But the movie isn't about fear mongering.
Well, it's
We don't know.
There are,
But exactly, we don't know.
I
That's
know.
what I'm saying. The trailer is doing narrative conceits. The trailer is making excuses. The trailer is assuming that people go, yeah, I wanted to fight Boopa-Man.
I find it funny that people. I'm probably giving the movie too much credit because maybe everyone is just super one-dimensional and there's not a lot of thought. Wow, that's really fucking
Had to
tough.
go for it.
There's not a lot of thought put into this sort of thing. But I just like when people go, "Pff, why would that person do that? Or why won't J.J. Abrams tell me that Khan's in this movie? It's like, just fucking go enjoy it. God, just go in there and shut your brain off and try to enjoy this thing as if you're watching it for the first time and that you haven't been spoiled by it for the last 10 months.
Lying to the audience is different than just making a conceit amongst the narrative. Basically, it doesn't make any sense. You are admitting that it doesn't make any fucking sense. That they would say, this is the reason for these guys, and then show immediate, it's almost as though the trailer guy doesn't get it, which then cues my brain into thinking, maybe they don't know what this movie is.
That's mainly my thing.
That's the big problem. Maybe they don't. The first trailer, right? Which again, their excuse is, hey, that was just for Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
That was just supposed to be a thing. That's fine. I get it. Maybe it wasn't the best production-wise trailer. Maybe it didn't have all the scenes that they would want to put in a trailer.
Right.
But tonally, doesn't match at all. Guardians of the Galaxy, I don't even think had good trailers. Everyone loves them, but I was like,
I wasn't.
I was like, this isn't really that funny, and they assume that I give a shit, and they're just using peppy pop music from the 70s to get
Sure.
you excited about it.
Ooga shaka, ooga shaka.
But then the music was actually kind of integral to the film because
Yeah.
his Walkman and how he
also,
felt about it.
also the second trailer came out and the third trailer came out and they all matched that tone. They all were that same thing.
Yeah.
This Suicide Squad is now it almost like they're just kind of putting a thermometer in the water right before they make a trailer, and then whatever temperature the water is, they're suddenly that's the movie. They're like, oh, that's the movie this is.
So my fear is we live in this weird trailer culture where people want trailers and they don't. And that's the sort of thing where it has become socially acceptable to judge a book by its cover, which is one of those things you always preach and go, don't do it. Wait till you see the final product. And now we're going, looks dumb.
There's certain things you can go looks dumb. There's other things going, well, they've released 4 trailers and they're all really, really different and they all seem like they're for different movies.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
do they know what it is?
That's
like,
my thing. It's
that's math.
The signs we see. The
that's
signs
not
we see.
it's mathematical criticism.
So there's like, so just what kind of spurred this conversation in addition to the 4th trailer? Yeah.
I think we're on the 3rd now.
3rd, yeah. I thought so.
Which for a movie coming out in August, kind of.
Yeah,
There's going to be a lot more trailers.
Yeah, I think DC should probably take a page out of the Disney book, and like look how Force Awakens did
Jungle
it,
Book.
or the Jungle Book.
But I think the thing that kind of prompted all this was there was that story that came out said that they're doing reshoots to change the tone of the film to match the trailer, which performed well.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
cool. But then there were interviews. I can't remember who or on what show, and I should have this.
Well, it was the
note.
director and Jai Courtney both had separate
Jai Courtney,
interviews.
I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the timing of it was kind of interesting, both around the time of the trailer. But they both said that's ludicrous. No, we did reshoots because Warner is a very permissive studio, and they allowed us to do reshoots so that we could
Add more action.
Add more action. Yeah, it's not changing the tone; it's making the movie better.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I like what you're saying. But also, that kind of reminds me of when Peter Jackson had to write that letter explaining why The Hobbit was being busted up into 3 movies. And I remember when he did that, I was like, "Oh, you poor man, you've just been played, son. Like they made you do this because people are." That was weird.
Broke the game.
And when that happened, that's exactly when my sense triggered, and I was like, "Oh, these movies are going to be bad because Peter Jackson is being forced through studio pressure to change the format and vision of the film,
Right.
to match."
Was he really being forced, or was he
No,
just
was
kind
being
of
forced?
Oh, have you watched the behind-the-scenes stuff?
No.
He wanted to kill himself.
Why would he do it then?
Well,
know.
Guillermo del Toro was supposed to direct The Hobbit,
Yeah.
but then he couldn't, and then Peter Jackson
Couldn't
just gets
or wouldn't?
dragged.
He
I
wouldn't.
guess that's the question.
Yeah. He
probably
well,
would.
I mean,
I think he
what I bet happened is Guillermo del Toro was on, and then they said, "Oh, by the way, you have to turn this into 3 films," and he was like, "No, I do not."
Yeah,
It's like
or
the
just
book's
bail.
90 pages long.
or
Yeah.
scheduling just changed, and then
Or,
he had
yeah,
other
you know,
obligations,
there's
and
any
he
number
had,
of reasons.
he had to say, "I got to peace out."
But The Hobbit was one of those times when I got that sense where it's like, oh, I feel really bad for the creator because they're being forced through for monetary reasons to do something they don't want to do. And I feel like I feel like I don't have a read on the director of Suicide Squad. I honestly don't even know who it is, and I should.
This guy did Fury.
He wrote Training
Oh.
Day and
Oh shit. Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Well, he also did Sabotage, right?
I don't know. I never saw Sabotage. I think David Ayer.
Ayer.
I haven't. So
Obviously talented.
yeah, I actually haven't seen Fury, and I need to. But everyone says it's good, and
Oh yeah.
it's a fun little film, or like a depressing film. Either way,
Joyful romp.
Suicide Squad is, as a DC fan, this is where my bias clearly comes out. I see that, and I'm sold because Harley Quinn's in the movie.
That's it.
No, but I'm saying that's where my brain is. Where I'm just saying, like, I've never seen Harley Quinn in a movie before, and Margot Robbie is like selling me on this character. And this is, Batman's a franchise I grew up with, and it's something that I've always really liked. And Harley Quinn is a character that I always thought was interesting and kind of cool. And the fact that someone's doing it, in my mind, correctly is exciting for me.
I think Margot Robbie's fantastic.
I think Margot
Excited to
Robbie
see
is.
her.
I think Margot Robbie is great, and I think she looks like Harley Quinn. But I haven't really seen anything in any of the trailers that lead me to believe she's.
We're the bad guys.
That
That's what she
Much of
talks
an
like. You're just
interesting-
doing a Harley Quinn impersonation.
No, it's a shitty line.
Oh.
It's a trailer line. Duh. We're the bad guys.
And again, it may be different, but
she, like, steals that purse.
If you want me to get excited about Harley Quinn, either show me a new. I'm actually kind of more getting on the Jared Leto Joker train.
Oh God, yes.
But I'm still holding out hope that he isn't supposed to be the Joker we're supposed to fear in this world. But he's still like, okay, I get it. He's a charismatic, imposing figure. It feels like they know that Harley Quinn is charismatic and beloved. So
I'm gonna blow
they're
you-
just putting her in it.
Oh, I love
I'm
it when
gonna
Adam
blow your
blows minds.
mind.
Yeah.
It never does.
we go.
The Joker's
No,
not.
it's-
The Joker's barely in the movie.
Oh,
They've shown basically everything you see in the trailer is probably all he is because he's
Yeah.
only going to be in flashbacks.
Well, they're probably adding more Joker. I bet that's part of the reshoots.
Hopefully,
Because I bet they found out that he's like captivating people more than any
well,
of the
they're
members
also
of Suicide Squad.
in the latest trailer. Spoilers. They show a lot of Batman, and they've been adding a lot of Batman into it. And
yeah, because people kept saying Batman is the best
Well,
part
what
of
did-
Batman.
what
v
do they
Superman.
show?
well, no, that's not why they did it.
Well, they're doing reshoots.
What did they
Well,
show
I-
other than him on the car?
Well, he's on the car. There's a part where he's diving in the water after Harley Quinn, and then he's carrying her to the Batmobile, which leads me to believe it's all flashbacks and it's all like origin story stuff. But this is all things that like
The stuff on the car is literally the first scenes that they shot for that movie because I remember when they started
Oh, yeah.
filming.
Yeah.
So
But I
like,
think
they're not adding that.
so.
as more
My
Batman.
my guess, if I were to
Oh, nice.
break this movie down,
Game's hard.
it
Yeah.
is very hard. The Joker Harley Quinn scene with Batman on the roof is probably the end of the movie. Is so. This happens in Suicide Squad. A lot of the characters are going to die, most likely, because they're called Suicide Squad. And it's probably going to be like Captain Boomerang, maybe. I don't know. He is it's a stupid name.
So stupid.
Poor guy.
I wish they would
hope
just
he
change his
sticks
name.
around.
I'm surprised they
I want
didn't
him to get his own
modernize
Netflix
him at all.
series.
Yeah, it's weird. Like
I think-
so much of DC needs a bit of a spit polish to be
Yeah.
appropriate.
Enchantress will die.
Enchantress is a character.
She's the one with the spirit inside of her or whatever. I don't know. Maybe.
Sounds-
Well, either way,
It sounds fun.
most likely Harley Quinn's going to live at the end, and then
Yeah.
Joker's going to show up, and they're going to run off at the end, and it's going to set up the next Batman movie. That excites me because now they're setting things up, but a good film that does not make.
Yeah,
Well,
Like Batman vs Superman, it's probably going to.
Guardians set up
Yeah.
Thanos, but did not like the movie didn't hinge on
And
that.
the 8
value
movies
of watching
before it have also set up Thanos.
it. Sort of.
I hope Punisher just shoots him in the side of the head and it ends.
What?
I think that would be funny.
People didn't
Oh.
like Spectre, but it set up a fun James Bond.
Spectre, man, what a hell of a movie that was.
I
Either way.
didn't mind Spectre. I like
think it's
Leia
gonna be
Seydoux,
remembered
so
fondly,
I got
It's like
blinders
the most
on.
profitable James Bond movie of
This
all time.
is the thing we
Spectre?
talked about.
Yeah.
Well, it followed Skyfall.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it wasn't Skyfall, it was Spectre.
Well,
Yeah,
it's,
more money.
you get the profits after the good one.
Rewatching Skyfall made me like Spectre even more.
Oh, I was gonna say X-Men Origins Wolverine is one of the highest-grossing X-Men movies of all
Ugh.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, do the math on that
Because of
one.
Liev Schreiber.
Yeah, that's what it was. People were just clamoring for more Liev Schreiber. Fans in droves.
I gotta wipe his memory, and he grabs
Yeah.
a gun.
Wasn't that the
This'll
guy in
wipe his
Scream
I-
1 and 2?
I think Back to Suicide
Cotton
Squad.
Weary.
All that the
Shriver's
movie has proven
attractive.
to me thus
Attractive.
far
Ray Donovan.
is that I should be skeptical.
Please be. No,
That's all that it's done.
I think we've said this. We preach this all the time. Be skeptical of everything.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
go in like with your wallet being thrown against the wall, saying yes, please, I'll buy whatever blindly. Like
gotta
unless
be
it's Ninja Turtles 2 Out of the Shadows.
Skeptical
I'm
of
actually-
the spectacle.
I'm a little less into it after that last trailer.
What changed? Nothing changed.
I did like when Donatello or whatever put the reverse ooze on his arm and he became human. I thought that was stupid. Turtles aren't human.
I
They're
zoned
turtles.
out at the CG action. Like eventually, it just
Yeah, it's fucking
I zoned
terrible.
out.
Man, the
It's-
first movie had some like when they're sliding down the mountain. I was into that. It's fake, yeah, but it's a cartoon. It's always been.
Well,
a
that's what I
cartoon.
mean. The CGI is finally caught up to a point where it doesn't look like Dragonheart anymore. And like you can just watch it and like once you do the mental gymnastics and you figure this out and you say, this is no longer a movie. This is a cartoon where the
Yeah.
background is real life. It's basically just Roger Rabbit.
Well, they
It is
also
not Roger Rabbit.
If you notice,
I'll tell you, Roger Rabbit is a beautiful
It's
movie.
Space Jam or Looney Tunes back in action.
It's
if
cool
you
world,
notice,
and you know it.
they do
Oh, man,
shit.
cool world.
They do all kinds of shit in Ninja Turtles movies and movies of its ilk, just to show how good they are at CG. That's what I love about it.
I was watching Bicentennial Man a few weeks ago, and the practical effects will never be matched.
They just have a basic shot of the turtles having a conversation, and the camera's sweeping around the room 100 times. It's like, you didn't have to do that.
So, did the turtles becoming human? Did that whole thing lose you? Was that it?
That's what I didn't like, that Donatello's hand became human, but then I guess maybe I remember people were losing their shit early on because they're like, the turtles didn't come from the ooze, they came from aliens. We were like, no, my lore. And I was like, this is based on a
Which
thing that
is
was meant to
Not
sell.
mine.
Which
By the
Ninja
way,
Turtles.
One of my favorite thing about that, I don't really give a shit because it's Ninja Turtles, and if you remember it a certain way, you remember it from that cartoon where they couldn't even get the fucking masks right. And these are like the people who you're, oh, this is the truest version of Nitro Samurai cartoon. They didn't know who Donatello was. Because they gave him an orange mask. What was actually said is that they were making it from the Ninja Turtles were of alien origin.
Right.
And everyone was all pissed off. But these people that were pissed off didn't realize that in the initial comic books, they're of alien origin, and basically every single version of the Ninja Turtles story that has tried to be true to the original narrative has been of the alien origin, because that's the ooze is of alien origin. Krang
James.
is a... Never mind. Never mind. I don't care.
The Ninja Turtles
I'm just saying.
they're not aliens in real life.
I just think it's people when people nitpick details that they just don't even know the details of.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the
If you
internet.
want to nitpick details, do it, but don't do it wrong.
So if you enjoy nitpicking details, do we have an offer for you? Loot Crate is sponsoring this podcast, and they also have monthly boxes full of pop culture and nerd stuff. So maybe you can bone up on your classics a little
Ninja
bit.
Turtles?
Yeah, maybe some Ninja Turtles. Not
Some
this
kind
month,
of
though.
Suicide Ninja Turtle?
Some kind of some kind of Loot Crate. Boy, there's a lot of loot in this crate. Is this some kind of Loot Crate?
What is this?
What?
Some
turns
kind
towards the
of-
camera.
It's black and white. That's hard to
Nerd
see.
box?
Yep, color button. So this month's theme is Quest. They come up with a different theme every month and somehow find a way to tie together a bunch of licensed properties that they've gotten gear for. The properties this month are Labyrinth, the David Bowie classic.
Yes.
Hopefully it's just a big cod piece. Got Harry Potter in there. Some History Channel's Vikings. I'm sure you have to say it that way, or they have to say it that way. And Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. That is the subtitle, right?
I believe so.
Good. Maybe you get a little Nathan Drake cod
was it?
piece too.
It's a pun because it's over in his butt.
It's not going to be over, by the way. There's going to be
Double
a fifth one.
entendre.
It is Uncharted. I just want to see side stories, or like, I love the idea. Well, fuck it. This is
Yeah,
not that part of the
we'll
podcast.
save. Yeah, we'll save it.
So you have until the 19th at 9 p.m. Pacific to subscribe to the crate, and then it moves on to the next month's theme. So if those licensed properties have your mouth a watering, make sure to go to lootcrate.com/dudesoup and use our offer code dudesoup, all one word, to get $3 off new subscriptions. So thank you, Loot Crate. Once more, that's lootcrate.com/dudesoup and use offer code dudesoup. So thanks again. It's always nice to get stuff. That's the American way right there, baby. Get stuff, license a property, make a film about it that doesn't make any sense, and suck that money out of those nerds' wallets.
This is hard.
Delicious.
Suck those nerds.
So I guess we can go on to other trailers, because boy, there's a lot. And
Really?
ostensibly, this is a video game related podcast. So we got that Titanfall 2 trailer.
Oh yeah.
A robot sword.
Let's call it a teaser. Call
Yeah,
Space
it's a
Spade.
teaser. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're right.
It's
You're
not a
right.
trailer.
Yeah.
The full trailer's coming at E3, right?
Probably. I imagine
Jeez.
there's
It's coming in June.
There's
I
bound to be a
believe.
gameplay demo. EA's
They don't
press
have a
conference is
release
on
date, do
Sunday,
they?
So I'm sure they will announce it at E3.
Well,
Probably.
yeah, but-
It might be this year.
Yeah, it's got to be this fall. Has to be.
fuck
What
this.
else are they
There we
competing
go.
with? There's no annualized shooters aside from Call of Duty anymore. And Call of Duty might be taking a year off. I don't know.
I'm really bad at angry video game nerd.
It's a jumpy shooty.
Yeah, I can't talk and pay attention to this.
It's tough. I don't
After
know.
this and Hyper Light Drifter, I'm just like, ugh.
So I have a lot
Games
of
are hard.
I have a lot of practice talking and playing games at the same time. I don't know. Did you ever do that growing up?
No,
You
God
wall
no.
jump.
I had to play in silence.
Scrape against the wall.
It's like when I masturbate and I hold my breath.
You might have to bounce off the spike thing. Oh,
You don't have to.
Autoerotic
Yeah, Adam
asphyxiation.
Just hold down, jump.
there you go.
Titanfall
Jump high.
2. What,
Yeah,
I mean,
Titanfall 2. We got
problem-
swards.
Sorry.
They could have just kept supporting Titanfall 1 and keep like introducing new events every weekend.
Titanfall
that
1
didn't
was
happen.
a tech demo.
I think. It wasn't. It was a platform.
I think it
Demo.
was the, it was
It
the
was a
first
really fun
hurdle.
tech demo.
It was the first hurdle for this
tech demo.
brand new studio
Use
that.
that word liberally.
Yeah, I don't know.
Far Cry wasn't a tech demo. Damn it. Crisis wasn't. Anyway, tech demos are barely playable. Oh,
I can't see. There's a
you got a thing in
thing
your way?
going in the way.
Which thing?
Elise's
Oh,
mic
Elise's
stand
thing.
is going.
Come on, thing.
Sorry.
That's okay. Don't
We
worry.
gotta
about
stop playing games that we pay attention to.
it. Why? I like it.
Or you can just quit this level. Actually, you're
Yeah,
more
this
capable
is
of
a
doing
little bit of a hard one.
that. So yeah, Titanfall 1.
We can talk about all of our dreams for
We
Titanfall
all
2.
enjoyed Titanfall for a week,
I played
basically.
it for about a month and a half.
Yeah, it was. I mean, in turn, what it got right was gameplay.
Yeah,
Arguably the most important thing in a video game.
arguably.
Yeah,
single most.
That's a joke.
Ah,
That's what I was saying.
I see. You're joking. You're just goofing.
I'm a goofing man. I'm a joke.
You're all goofing on me.
jokester. Yeah. Yeah.
Go on.
Well, no. So I always kind of knew this was going to happen. They had to make a lot of concessions and make a lot of deals. This kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where in order you want to make something like Zack Snyder's like, I want to make a Batman movie, like sure, but it's got to lead into Justice League. And he goes, okay, as long as I can masturbate to this later, I'm gonna have a good time.
And you do, and you do.
And so Titanfall was, okay, we're gonna poach a lot of people from Infinity Ward, and we're gonna make our own game. We're gonna do all the stuff that we wanted to do with jetpacks and wall running and all this stuff, and then Call of Duty will rip it off years later and claim it as original, as game developers do. Oh, James, that was so close. God, this game is rough.
I know, it's interesting.
So I think Titanfall 2 is probably going to be more of what people were expecting with Titanfall 1.
Yeah.
It'll be a more full-fledged game. That's my guess.
That has to be the case. I think a lot of publishers and developers were experimenting with content packages, thinking that like, oh, we can just put out a multiplayer game that's really well balanced and the gameplay's all there and have a handful of maps, because I'm sure that they looked at the metrics and waved their hands at it and said, look, people only played half of the single player, but they played 60 hours of multiplayer. So why are we spending all this time and money developing a single player?
Oh yeah, sure. That's what they call it. I'm sure that's what what's his name? Vince Zampella? Yeah. Zampella. I'm sure that's what he was saying when he was like, look at these metrics.
People want multiplayer.
Yeah, people want multiplayer. Why are we wasting time on single player? And Activision was always like, because that's what we do. And he was like, all right, fuck it. I know better. And in a way, he did.
Sort of. I think it's I think it's also here. I can. I think it's also like a lot of
Craig. You've done it again.
I think a lot of game developers and Capcom kind of did this too, where they put out Street Fighter V without a story mode and with really it's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, really without many like accoutrements that I guess most players expect out of a full game, and they got blowback for it. But when it comes to Street Fighter V, people just play local and they play online, so why do people even want a fucking story? I think developers are figuring out that there's a certain kind of tax you have to pay to make your product appear to be a fully fledged $60 thing.
Sure.
And you'll get blowback for it if you don't have it in there.
Transmedia options.
Unless Titanfall did this later in its life, it never really had events on a regular basis to keep it interesting.
Yeah, that would
And
be cool.
It could have done that. It could have done like weekly, like here's a new, like GTA essentially with like introducing maps and
Well,
stuff.
they have like
Adversary modes and
daily
quests,
I mean, Overwatch isn't even out yet, and they have that shit in there.
Oh, it's scary to compare games to GTA though, because GTA is a bear of a game.
I don't think that they are the same.
And
same breed.
not every publisher can.
Well, I would say Titanfall's probably the best comparison is actually what James just said. Overwatch.
Yeah.
It is a multiplayer only game where we're freaking babies when it comes to this stuff, because they just drop a little lore hint and we're like, oh my god, did you see that McCree was actually an outlaw instead of an actor like we all thought? And then they made a reference to it, and then you just shoot each other for 10 minutes and it doesn't fucking matter because there's no single player, but we're eating it up.
In-depth discussions.
So again, that's also like I totally agree. And if you don't think that Blizzard was looking at what Titanfall was doing at the time, Titanfall, what came out? What year?
2013.
2013 or 2012?
2013 or 2014.
That's a really long time ago. They were at the time. I think we even gave it credit for being like, listen, they're pushing the envelope. They're trying something new. Thank God. Thank God they're trying something new. And I'm surprised the game came out as well as it did.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, that game was kind of like almost like indie game development. Like it was a small studio.
Yeah.
And what they got done was pretty impressive. But now they have.
It was built in Source Engine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was. Wow.
And now,
Crazy.
and now they have the.
In the valley.
In the valley.
Who does that?
Yeah.
I think Titanfall had nods to story. I'm really curious about that world. Well, it's got like the little goofy robots and the resistance and shit. And like, I don't know anything about that stuff, and I want to.
Here's something that I think that devs are gonna learn. Like Overwatch is doing. Maybe you don't need to put it on the disc or in the file.
Sure.
Maybe as long as you like, people want more, right?
Again, it's hard to make that comparison because Blizzard has so much money.
I understand. I
and they answer to nobody.
But this goes back to the This goes back to the Frank Grimes thing. You could work really hard, but sometimes people just fucking have more shit than you do, and that's how it goes.
Fair.
This is actually a pretty good takeaway for anyone who's curious about, their millennial lifestyle and their accomplishments and stuff. Sometimes there's just other bigger fish in the pond, and they can do exactly what you do, maybe not as well, but they're going to be more successful because they have the resources to do it. I don't know.
Well, and Blizzard, I would say, is probably prone to something that you see happen in a lot of industries, where it got a little too big, And now you can't really do the things that Blizzard was kind of like probably what a lot of the people who originally started working there fell in love with. Where they're like, oh, wow, they do these cool little things. And they're like, only do Diablo and only do it this way and work on Overwatch.
Yeah. We're hedging our bets.
Yeah, and so then that's why you see people go, yeah, I'm going to go start my own studio. Or I'm going to go do this because I want to go make a thing that this is why I fell in love with game development. And I don't want to do it at a big place anymore. And I mean, I would say, I feel like that's what happened with Valve in some way.
Yeah.
Where people went in there and they're like, we're doing VR now. And they're like, but I wanted to make Half-Life. Like, VR. It makes money. Who knows? Maybe they'll make Half-Life. I don't know.
Never.
I hope so.
God, I wish.
Either way.
Just fucking fish. There we go.
So yeah, I can see Titanfall was one of those things that came out of that. Well, they were basically forced out of the studio. We saw that whole thing unfold. That was a mess. You remember the story?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Everyone? Yeah.
That was dramatic.
Yeah. Well, it also comes from an industry that's not exactly. It's regulated, but it's not.
Yeah.
There's no protection, so to speak. So.
Oh, no, like unions.
Yeah.
I mean, your protection is the free market.
So when you're a game developer and you're like, I made Call of Duty, I'd like my $1 billion now. They go, ha, no.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a contract.
Yeah. We own this. You don't. You're like, okay, well, I'll just go do this thing.
Anyway,
What are we getting
Titanfall
at?
2 looks. I'm excited for the. It is a game, but
It is a game.
Did you watch the teaser?
I did. Yeah, it's a sword in the
It's a
ground,
sword.
and
Yeah.
that's it.
Okay.
But
You're
it
like,
told me,
looks.
other than a sword, it told me nothing.
Yeah.
I already don't
Well,
already know about.
Lawrence
Titanfall.
always
promise
talks
you,
about like what he
reveal it
wishes
E3.
Titanfall.
Yeah,
had.
man, I got crazy dreams.
This is what we've been doing since we were kids,
There we
where
go.
we'd read a magazine or look at a screenshot and go,
Oh,
"Can you imagine if?"
Yeah.
And then you play the game and it's a third-person shooter.
my
and you go,
vision.
Oh.
Maybe Titanfall 3 will get there, and to a degree, like Eve and Dust were trying to be this, but I want like, and the leaked footage of Battlefront 3, the one that never happened,
Yeah.
was kind of this. I want orbital to ground combat, so you can be a little bro on the ground, or you can be in a fighter that can fly out of the atmosphere into like this orbital section.
You want like Macross or like Gundam? or something
Yeah,
like that.
and then
Transformers.
that goes into like the Titanfall aspect, because when you call in a Titan, it rockets down from space. So it'd be cool if other players call in Titans, and then you see like maybe outside of the bounds of the map, you see like a carrier load up and fire off a Titan, and then you can follow it through space into the atmosphere and down to the surface level of the planet. So you and like a fighter jet can like shoot it down before it gets there, and then you could like the other idea I had, which I need to just email Infinity Ward.
Yeah, just
They're called Respawn now, yeah.
I'll just
Dear
email
Infinity Ward,
email
this is how
them
to
a
make
text file.
Titanfall.
Here's my ideas for Batman vs Superman.
What you need to do, so you
Tell
have
Zach.
you have different Titans, right? Let's say that you and like 3 other members have compatible Titans. You can lock them together to make a Super Titan.
You want something Voltron?
Yeah, basically. And
Which
then
is
like
great.
the
Power
Super,
Rangers, Lawrence.
the Super Titan can then fly into space and then like go fight up there too.
There's
So
a tiger. There's a crane.
yes, the building strategy can be like, oh shit, they've got these 2 Titans. The third one is flying in. Everybody get in a jet and take this shit down because we can't deal with the Super Titan right now.
Oh, so you're playing with your friends?
Yeah.
And then you guys all form
And you're a
a
squad.
Megazord?
maybe we should play Titanfall today.
Yeah, maybe. It's like a 60 gig download, but also.
What?
We played that during the podcast.
My hope for one of them, because I like the idea of doing like orbital combat, which is like Star Citizen's kind of doing. But like I would love the idea that there is like a space elevator type thing where it's like it is something just kind of sitting in the stratosphere and you're fighting for this control point, but there's stuff on the ground. And I'd love this like ability where you just jump off and you could parachute or
fall the whole
jetpack
way?
down.
Oh,
but
that's
mid fall you call in a Titan and it blasts past you, and then you get into it.
I just like the so yeah.
or you jump into it like mid air and it becomes a jet or something like that, like Macross, or it's just like it's these like Robotech or something of that,
You know what I
that
liked about
ilk.
Titanfall?
What'd you like about
All the
Titan?
bots.
Yeah, the robots
you
are
know,
really
for
cute.
some of us not as good as
Yeah.
at
Oh, it's
shooters.
just bots.
All those bots.
Oh,
so
those
let's just I hope double the bots.
Double the bot.
Double the
bots.
bots Titanfall 2. Make me feel special about
Well-
myself for those kills.
They had the card system, and I think that
Yeah.
was pretty cool. But I wish that it was like generally the card system was like you get a gun. It's like I use a
gun that's
the whole
nearly
time.
identical, yeah.
I wish it was like bot swarm. Right, like, and as soon as you call it in, they send down like a squadron
I
of
swear that
like
would've blown up those blocks.
like 15 bots that just basically are a human shield for you while also shooting everything, like stuff like that.
That
would
was
be
my
cool.
favorite thing, is because people would get distracted by the bots.
Yeah.
And you sometimes you couldn't tell the difference. Like
Yeah.
if you squint your eyes a little bit, you can tell. But
No, it's good because then you can run with the bots and they kind of act like a meat shield. It did add an interesting
at a
layer.
MOBA my hope, and you guys are gonna hate this.
If you kill a lot of robots,
maybe
you
James is
call it a
with me.
Titan earlier.
I would like them to put a little bit of a MOBA twist on it, a little bit. I don't like. Well, here's the thing. I don't like perma unlocks. I don't like having to grind through a game.
Perma unlocks.
I don't like having to grind through the game to get a sniper rifle. I think.
Oh shit! I fucked it. Give me another
There's
umbrella.
medicine.
Give me another umbrella, please.
Stay focused.
Sorry. I'm a little sick of games. I'm a little sick of Call of Duty where it's like, unlock this weapon. I'm more about now like CS:GO and Halo and stuff where it's like, you know what we did? We balanced the game. Everything that's in here. But you know what? If you want a little weapon skin, we can get that for you.
I
we can do that.
Unlocks.
But then what I would like is that during the match, much like Warzone and Halo, where it's progression. You're building up, and it's like, oh, you want that ultra ability to run on walls faster, or you want to double jump faster, or whatever, or have like an invisibility option. That's an unlock. It's like a Battleborn where you can you have like a skill tree that you unlock as you go down, and then next game all resets.
Well, Call of Duty's like, Call of Duty had that with kill streaks.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, but you have to unlock the
streaks.
kill streaks, and then they have a point system. They have to. It's too complicated. And one of the things that I really liked about Titanfall was it simplified things a lot. They're like one gun, 2 attachments. That's it. It was pretty simple.
They're like 5 guns.
Remember the
3 max.
pistol that aimed for you?
Yeah, that was
Smart.
Fucking awesome.
Shit, maybe we should play Titanfall.
So that's the thing. Like there were a lot
like
of,
Titanfall.
There were a lot of great ideas in Titanfall to make it open to people who were
For
not
Call of Duty
God,
did.
shit, not Call of
Borrow.
Duty pros. No, Titanfall had a lot of good ideas, and I'm confident that.
Remember you can rip the fucking head off of the robot and then blow its brains out?
Yeah. You could crack the. Remember, you'd crack the neck of someone and then
And boot them?
Titanfall was really good. Everybody liked to be like, "Phew, everyone forgot about that game. No,
Well, everyone
I
did
played
forget about
I played
it.
it for months. It was.
Elise is right, though. There was a lack of support, and that's probably
Yeah.
because they were like, shit, we got to get started on
Yeah,
Titanfall 2.
I think
Yeah.
that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I think Titanfall 1 was a market test, and I think EA also knew that. I think they also were not under any delusions that a new IP is going to sell well off the bat
Yeah.
or even perform well.
Lest you forget, too, it was an Xbox One launch title.
That's true.
Ish,
Well,
right?
yeah, no,
or it was an
not
exclusive.
launch, but it was exclusive.
Yeah.
I mean, exclusive on consoles, and now it's going to come to
early.
PS4.
It was really
yeah.
early into the console
then
life
Xbox
cycle.
Well, it was on
Xbox One's-
PC.
Well, that's what I mean, though. It's like, but if you're on console and you're like PS4,
I
Xbox,
want everyone to play my game.
yeah, that was a. But now it's coming to PS4. But I'm sure that was one of the
Conceits.
one of the conceits they had to make was concession. Sorry, James was wrong. Lawrence was
I
right.
don't know. It's kind of right too.
My
That
problem
sort of
Makes sense.
with the teaser, Lawrence,
Yeah, it
maybe
does,
you'll
right.
feel this way too, is it wasn't emotional enough. It didn't
Yeah.
have a somber
It needed an
cover of a
80s
70s
yeah, it
or
needed a-
early 80s song.
Maybe, like,
Girls
trance or
just
something.
wanna have
That's the
fun.
one.
Shit.
I haven't watched the Gears of War trailer, but
Oh yeah, I was about to talk about that.
I saw-
That was my segue, Lawrence.
Thank you.
that's what I
That was a
assumed
good-
you were getting
that
at.
was a good one.
I only saw
Thanks.
Blaine's tweet where he's like, I know I'm a man, but this shit still makes me cry, and I'm like, you puss.
The characters are too goofy looking.
Disturbed.
It's really hard to
Simon
relate.
Garfunkel.
Like, there are some dark moments
Blaine.
in the Gears of War series, and even then I'm like, all right, cry big baby, cry you big gorilla.
Like, well, I was
Gears
reading.
of War 1 and 2 had pretty genuine ones. 3 was just hokey and shitty.
Is that the one where Dom kills
opinions.
himself?
No, yeah, that wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, he had to like.
And then they
found
play the
his-
Mad World song.
Found his dead wife in 2. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I guess. And I was like, why do I care?
Oh,
You always try and make that jump.
I want it.
He really wants
I want that. I want that cartridge.
You wanna Tony Hawk this
I'm
thing.
excited for Gears 4. I'm really hoping
Really?
to go back to the tone of the first game. Gears of War 1 was awesome.
Yeah,
And it was like really quiet and somber, and the environmental design was awesome.
It's repetitive as shit, though.
Every game
I know video games are
You're
repetitive,
not allowed
but
to say that. You mean like in terms of environmental design?
I don't know. I mean, like it. You know, the thing that kept me engaged with Gears was they did have the cookie crumb trail of like, we'll give you some new weapons, bigger enemies will come out. You have to be a little bit smarter with them. Like, you know, was that the one that was like there's a blind one and you got to like
the Berserker.
and stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah,
And, like
yeah.
you got to be like super quiet. And like, okay, that was interesting. And it had online co-op, which was for me, it was like at the time was the thing that I wanted.
Yeah.
But it just kept kind of doing the same thing. And before I knew it, I was like, I know it's the Yahtzee thing, but it was like chest high walls, and you just hide behind cover and you shoot things. And
Did you play it on
Well,
hard?
For me,
no, that doesn't make games more fun for me.
If
Yeah,
you're complaining
absolutely.
about repetition, yes, it does. It forces you to play differently. Yes, it does.
Oh no, you're
It
just doing the
completely
same
changes-
shit over and over again. Only
Bullshit.
it's harder now.
You didn't play it on hard, so you can't say
I did
that.
play it on hard.
Do you play it
I
on-
play a lot. That's what I do. I generally try and play games on hard, and I go bullshit, and then I'll go back, and then I play it on normal, and I'm like, good. Now I only have to play through it once, as opposed to repeating it over and over again.
Gears 1 had like amazing encounter design. All the enemies, like, you can't just hide behind walls in that game. They will charge at you, and like all the enemies move differently and shoot differently and attack differently.
Yeah, and how did you learn to do that?
By
Losing
failing.
to them over and over and again, which sounds like repetition to me.
Every game is repetitive.
If this is what
There
the
was
game
not a
is going to
non-repetitive
do
game
us,
in the world.
I don't want it.
Ever made.
Well, so what I
It's like music.
The thing, like one of the things why like I fell in love with Halo was it was always this rock paper scissors sort of thing. So it's like there's the grunts, one shot. Oh, the elites have shields. Okay, I need to switch a weapon. There's the hunters, but if you shoot them in the back perfectly, it works. As the games have progressed, they've been like, we're running out of ideas. So now they're just introducing Promethean characters. Like, you got to shoot them a lot.
Yeah.
And you go, Is there a quick way of taking them down? They're like, no. You shoot them a lot.
Shoot them a lot.
I'm like,
Yeah, I liked all the new enemies in Halo 5 was like, it's got a glowing spot in the back. Shoot it in the back.
Yeah, I mean some characters like there are ones like there's one character, it's a knight that was in 4, but they it has like little glowy things on the side. You shoot it and he'll scream, and if you shoot him right in the mouth, it's a one-shot kill.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's great, but then they have these other Promethean knights that like you just hit them until they just go rah, and then you hit them again and they die. I'm like, okay, stupid. Gears always felt like just the bullet sponge thing, where I was like, I'm like, it's just sort of the same 3 things over and over.
Well, I guess in that regard,
And there's
there
the
aren't
boss.
There aren't any mechanics to kill enemies quickly. But I will say that the one thing they did in 2 and 3, they added some new enemies. So there was like the gun that went undercover. There was that little millipede thing that just chased after you, and you had to shoot it in the ass.
Sure.
And that kind of assumes co-op mechanics, because you can lead it out, and then somebody else can shoot at it for you.
The worst was when someone would shoot you and let you bleed out, and they're like, "You can execute him," and then they just let you bleed out slowly for the
in
next
multiplayer?
3 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, just stand over you.
And they're like, we didn't expect that. Sorry. Anyway, Gears 4, I'm not it.
Gears 4.
I have like 0 interest, which is a shame.
Nice, good reference. Not you, the game. Ninja Turtles. You don't jump, you just walk.
Just walk
Ha
over.
ha. Ahoy hoy. Man, some of these are just out of the way.
James, thoughts? Gears? No one's talking.
I mean, I
It's a
just
podcast.
for me, I liked Gears 1 because of the environmental design and the fact that it was designed with flanking and stuff in mind. And then Gears 2 is like, well, we'll just make the maps a little bit wider. Like it wasn't
Yeah.
like pathways. It wasn't like you go this way, I'll go this way, and then I'll be. My favorite moments from Gears 1 were when you'd be like in the streets and one dude would be up in the parking lot and
shining
you'd be
the
on
light.
the street, and then
The light thing was cool.
Yeah, I like that.
and
section.
then the guy, you would basically be flanked by the enemy, but the only person who could defend you would be the person you were playing with.
Yeah.
And so they wouldn't even be shooting at people on their side. They'd be shooting at people on your side. And then, but in Gears of War 2, it's just more like, it's just a large kind of arena. Like, it was kind of more like Uncharted-y, where it's like, it's just a large arena full of chest-high walls. There's room for 2 guys to run around, protect each other. Good luck, buddies.
I played through it once, and I might be wrong in this, but didn't you spend most of the game underground, or was that just a
You
moment?
also spend it in shitty, ugly, pretty boringly designed
Yeah.
underground
Yep.
world.
But look at the stalactites.
No, I thought all the emulsion, the glowing stuff, that was kind of cool.
Sure, but that's just a tech demo at that point. Where it's like, it's pretty, but it's still the same
There's
game.
still a game there.
It's more creative to me when you're like, oh man, it's kind of cool how they figured out how to make this urban environment, something that I'm familiar with, look like a war zone, as opposed to just putting you in an unfamiliar environment and saying it's a war zone. You know, it's like, oh yeah, well, of course that the underground people have buttons that when you press, the walls go up. Like, what is the practicality of that at all? Like, what when they're not at war, what do those button walls do? It's kind of like same thing with Last of Us.
Yeah.
Like Last of Us was like, you're walking through a camp, and it's a medical camp, and for some reason there's just a cement block in the middle of it that's up to your waist. Like, what is that supposed to? What is that for?
I mean, I don't mind Gears because I think Gears specifically is it doesn't make a whole lot of overtures about being like a full realized world. It's just enough for you to like kind of chew on mentally while you're playing. At least that's how I always felt.
Yeah, but then it also, like people were saying, it kind of asks you to feel emotional about certain events. And it's
It got more
I can't
like
buy
that as-
into this world.
It got more like that as the games went on. It got more overt with its story overtones, which I didn't like because with Gears 1, like all the shit about Marcus Phoenix and his dad and like what happened with the Locust outbreak, like they don't address any of that. It's just kind of there in side references. So it's not like the game says, hold on, stop having fun, because we have to make you cry a little bit. Which I always throw, like, I hate that shit, because it's never done well.
I don't even remember what
kinda
happened in
like
the third
Mass
one. I'm sure someone's getting angry that we don't remember the story, but that's more in
You
the game.
find Marcus Phoenix's dad.
Well, I remember you find his dad, and his name's Adam Phoenix.
Some kind of
I
giant
remember
fucking
that.
laser demon.
Though they set things up that seemed interesting, where they're like, Marcus Phoenix, you're in jail because against crimes against humanity, and he's
Yeah.
like, oh man, and they're like, hey bro, war's happening, we gotta let you out. And I felt like it never got past that. It was never anything more interesting than that for me. And then they kind of allude to like, oh, there's the locust, and then I was like, oh, did the humans maybe make the locust, or like maybe there's another like plot here of like that we are on a foreign planet, so maybe
Terra.
I was gonna say maybe humans like invaded this
Terra?
planet,
No,
and this
Sarah.
is Sarah. Sorry, not Terra. Yeah,
Fucked
idiot.
it up. I fucked it up.
Yeah. Didn't you read the Gears book? I bet there is one. But going into that, I was more interested in, and also I'm gonna say this one too. Books don't really count because I'm not going to read them. So if someone wants to get upset and say, no, if you read this book, the lore makes more sense. And
Adam
like,
makes us read the Halo books and then tell
Yeah.
him what happened.
Please,
It's like part of our job description.
words are hard. But either way, they do. I was wondering if they would do a thing where it's like, okay, humans invaded this planet, and it's like, the humans don't belong here. It's just the locusts are trying to take it back.
Well, what killed me, yeah.
Like, I thought that would have been kind of a cool plot.
There's a lot of mystery and a lot of cool shit. I liked how in Gears 1 you heard the Locust Queen or whatever. You never saw her. And then in the later Gears games, oh, it's just like a metal girl in a bikini. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
She's the Locust Queen.
Uh-huh. She just she looks like a human.
Yeah.
It's like, I wanted her to be some kind of hideous hellbug or something.
Well, have you ever seen a queen bee? They look like humans.
You're right. They're sexy. They have striped
Have you
bikinis.
seen a Ninja Turtle with 5 fingers?
But the
Like
female
humans.
Ninja Turtles, like Venus, they look like humans.
But then also like what you were touching on there, James, like I remember more moments in like the first game where you did the spotlight thing, and like I like things when you play a game and it kind of makes you flex your thinking muscles a little bit. Like Portal it's a tough game to compare to because it's so damn good, but that game where you go, oh, and then it makes you feel smarter. That's and you can't
Yeah.
ask every game to do that, obviously.
Also, narratively, Lawrence said the worst thing that a game can do is ask you to stop and listen.
Yeah.
Of course.
And so, like, thinking about, like, the first BioShock, like, that game was never like, hey, all right, hold on now. We got to tell you some plot now, except for one moment
part,
in the game.
yeah.
One moment in the game.
That's, like,
when you're
universally
totally ready
loved.
for it, right?
Yeah.
The rest of it, it's
Because
like,
you want it so
Yeah.
much.
well, but then the rest of it is
You're wet
like,
for it.
keep moving. We'll tell you the plot, but I hope you're in a safe place because, like, no one's going to stop going after you or anything like that.
Right.
Just,
But then, Gears was always like, you'd be walking down, you'd open the door and they do this thing.
Yeah.
And you go,
Ugh.
which I understand.
run. He can't run. Why can't he run?
From a game developer perspective, it's like,
fingers to the
okay,
ear.
if you're secretly loading the next part, smart, go for it. It's better than a load screen, keeps you immersed. But this shit just got old. I was just like,
I feel trapped.
yeah.
There are a lot of games where any single, like, it'll fade to black, and I can just go, no.
Right.
Why?
Why? I don't care. I don't care. Especially if you really don't care by that point in the game.
Yeah.
Like, I especially do not care.
It's fine to like story in a game, but I feel like time and time again, the format that's proven to work is make a fun game to play, and then give people an option to investigate the story apart from the game if they want to.
Yeah.
So like,
Like Hyperlight Drifter.
yeah,
I'm interested in that, and it doesn't seem like a prerequisite that you have to understand the story at all.
no, but you
less
also
is
just kind
more.
of absorb it through context clues. And like if you almost in a Dark Souls way, if you want to talk to everybody and see the little pantomime stuff that goes on, then you can start to make those connections yourself. But the game never says like, hold up, you're about to enter a dungeon, but we need to explain to you what happened in this dungeon before you got here.
Yeah.
That does happen man, this part's rough. That does happen environmentally, but it does it the right way. I don't know. It's interesting. Every time we talk about story in games, you get a few angry tweets from people who are insistent that story is the most important thing in a game.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And
I guarantee you they built their sense of narrative through games.
yeah, that's the other part. People that say that like
There's-
games
there-
have good stories. Oh boy, you need to read more books.
I'm sure there was a generation of people who were like, yeah, like they didn't read any books, they only watched movies, and they're like, I can't read books.
Yeah,
It takes too long to get through the story. There's too much description and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, it's called a book.
Yeah. What kind of is interesting is Stephanie's been reading 11/22/63.
Yeah.
And we watched a bit of the show, and it like her brain popped out of her head because a lot of the characterization, obviously, that's in the book is completely absent from the show. Characters are boiled down to their one-dimensional identifiable traits, as opposed to these fully fleshed out, like really interesting, nuanced characters with a lot of depth and conflict.
It's like two different entertainment mediums.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
have to make sacrifices for one of them
Oh,
to
of course.
Well,
exist.
also, how many pages is
That
Many.
book is massive.
It's like
But
1,000
yeah.
pages.
No,
I-
it's you have the space to tell
Yeah.
a more interesting story. So compare that to like a video game, which at most has maybe 20 total minutes in its runtime to compress all of its story into cutscenes. It's like Gears 2. They had one scene to set up how much. I'm losing his name.
What?
What's your bro's
Marcus?
name? No,
Marcus
the other
Phoenix?
one.
Dom?
Dom. How much Dom like loved and missed his wife.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
did it kind of elegantly through the garden or whatever he was tending, but it's like that, and then cut like the only other scene is him cradling his nearly dead wife, and it's like that's the arc. And there's some other like intel and stuff, some emotional pictures you can get and all that stuff, but still, it's like it's not anything approaching a real romance that has like weight and gravity.
Because you're supposed to be shooting stuff in the meantime.
Yeah, it's a video game. You're supposed to play it.
Yeah.
And it's like Overwatch is, I think, the ultimate example of it's got so much game, and when you're in it, that's all you're doing. Aside from hearing little call-outs or little like map clues, which is brilliant, by the way, because it only happens at the beginning when people are doing hero select. So the people who already know what they're going to play have a little thing to gnaw on while they're like listening to characters talk to each other. It kind of reminds me of Left 4 Dead in that regard.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty brilliant.
For me, I mean, obviously we're an older generation, so maybe I know I do. I think differently. I tend to find more enjoyment in nuance
Yeah.
and be able to go in and go. I like if James were to go, oh, did you know that like blah 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 character did this and this one thing, or like there's like a subtle reference here, then you go, I had no idea. That's really smart. Cool. I'd rather have that than the game blatantly tell me and just scream at me and go, you need to feel things. Because it just, I don't know, it feels more organic. I feel like games are just this different type of medium that you don't need to experience like a film.
I'm also very much like, again, adult with a job, so I have Netflix and Hulu, and so if I want narrative, I have a wealth of narrative that I can pull from if I want those things.
Brag
If I
more about
want a
your Hulu
game,
account.
Yeah. Very well.
Like it's not the commercial free Hulu though, so.
No.
But if I want a game, then I want to play it generally. And that doesn't mean that those kinds of things don't appeal to me. They totally do. Like you said, at the beginning of Overwatch, when Lucio's like talking to Symmetra about how he stole her technology and stuff, and I'm like, oh yes, God yes, this is gonna be so sweet. And then they'll even release short films, which mean that when I want to get my Overwatch narrative time, I can do it in the format that I think is better for it, as opposed to asking me to stop playing or whatever just to do it. I don't know. It's just, but it's different perspectives. It's because I grew up getting narratives different ways, and I never expected that out of video games. Like I played Super Mario 64, which the whole narrative of that game is Peach writes you a letter and says, "Come get a cake."
Some of the pictures.
Get this cake.
He's like, get stars, gotcha.
Yeah.
Huh?
Well, it's frustrating, and to tie it all back around, this is the same thing that kind of has me raising an eyebrow at Suicide Squad, is that I know for a game like Mass Effect, the storytelling changed, and it got a lot less subtle, because I know what happened is they had a focus group, and people were like, I don't get it. So they were like, okay, we want to make mass market entertainment. Now we have to change our vision to be more appealing to people. That's not wrong. It's fucking commercial.
It's business.
Yeah, it's commercial entertainment. It has to sell.
Yeah.
That's what it does. So I don't think that's bad. But when it comes to like my enjoyment of something, it definitely decreases when I can tell that somebody's vision has been altered for the sake of commercialism. It's supposed to go
I
away.
like gamey games, but for me, the story makes or breaks a game, because that's where my interest lies the most.
Really?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, the kind of games that I play. That's
Yeah, but
like a game like Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons that
that was
hits
great.
you with an emotional impact,
But it hits
without
you with
saying a
story
word.
through gameplay mechanic.
It does hit you through gameplay mechanic, but the way that the story and that intertwine is so masterfully done.
That's true. That's true.
for me, it doesn't make it or break it, but icing. It sells a little short, but it's basically icing on the cake. The best icing you've ever had in your life. So
I mean, I think you raise a good point with something like BioShock, where you're picking up audio logs and you're getting all that story, and it's not coming at the cost of the gameplay. is very true, because nobody wants to sit through giant cutscenes.
I just think there's
people like
creative ways to do it
Metal
that
Gear
don't
Solid 4, man.
compromise the initial
People-
the initial concept or the initial intention, which is this is a game.
Yeah.
There's ways to do
Ah.
it, and again, just like Suicide Squad, just like Batman v Superman, just like anything that we have a critical eye on, it's not because the people involved are bad. It's because it's really, really hard to do.
Yeah,
it's easy to say
Yeah,
and
of
think
course,
of a
yeah.
way to do, but it's really, really hard to actually do.
I had a moment this weekend where I was unpacking everything and finally got my all my computer stuff set up, and I have Quantum Break just sitting on my
Quantum Break's
Xbox,
fucking great.
and I want to play it, but it was like, okay, I'm like, it's on Xbox. There's gonna be some load times. Okay, that's fine. And I remember playing it when we went to that San Francisco thing.
Yeah.
And I just remember I'm like, there's 30 minutes of story I got to get through, and I don't care. Maybe you can skip it. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far.
The intro's a little long-winded. But
Yeah,
it
and I just don't-
sets itself up. I think the big difference is
I just want to play it.
Quantum Break actually has decent writing and acting, as
Yeah.
opposed to most story-focused games that just that slam you with not great stuff. You can like it. That doesn't mean it's good.
You know what I did instead? Played Overwatch.
Nah.
Played a lot of Overwatch.
Quantum Break's intro is a little long-winded, but once the game starts, it's like exactly the kind of game that
I'm
doesn't.
thinking
get
I
made
want to
anymore.
play Overwatch on one monitor while Quantum Break's story plays in another.
That's what we're getting. That's the point we're getting to.
Yeah, because I want to just be entertained because I only have a certain amount of hours in the day
Right.
that I want to do it, and I don't want to dedicate 20 of them to seeing Iceman hang out with Littlefinger.
When I was playing Mad Max, like that game has very minimal story, but there are cutscenes and stuff in it. And generally, when that happens, I pull out my phone.
I always do that, and then
I play
I
like
feel
Marvel Puzzle Quest or
Yeah.
something.
Well, guys, if you want to be entertained, do we have an offer for you? Our friends at Kinda Funny are doing Kinda Funny Live. That's happening on Saturday, May 28th and Sunday, May 29th. You can get tickets at kindafunny.com/tickets. Ironically, there will be more non-Kinda Funny members there than Kinda Funny members.
Take that,
It's
Greg.
a show,
Yeah.
right? It's a variety show.
Yes.
You got your Tims and your Nicks and your Gregs and your Collins
You got
and
'em
your
all.
Adams and your Bruces
And your Bruces. And
And
your
a Jeff, I
Bernies
think.
and your Gus's and your Jeffs.
Yeah, versus Jers.
And one other person, I think?
Sure.
Other
Who do you
people.
want to be there? They'll be there.
Oh, let's see here. Yeah, Bernie, Jeff, Michael. Michael's there. That's the one.
Okay. Michael's
Gus,
a person.
Adam and Bruce are all coming out to support the family. So if you are in the area, you should support the family too. Or hey, fuck it, get a plane ticket. Spend all the money on Kinda Funny. That's what we like to do. So that again, that's Saturday, May 20th, Sunday, May 29th at kindafunny.com/tickets. Probably be a great time. 2 days of entertainment. So yeah, get your tickets now.
Put the money on the funny.
And thanks for listening. Also, hey, if you enjoyed this podcast and you're listening to it on audio, maybe go give it a little rating on your podcast service of choice, be that iTunes or whatever. Give us some stars. Tell people what you thought.
I use Pocket Casts.
Hey, where's Omar?
I use Beyond Pod. Where is Omar?
Oh, should we talk about what Omar's doing?
No, we shouldn't.
James,
Keep saying that every week.
we should
Where is Omar?
We should maybe
I wonder where Omar
done.
is.
at things.
We're done. Thanks for watching.
People are gonna be like,
Omar.
People are gonna be like, is
More
Omar-
like, oh my God, he's
is he
missing.
quitting? Is Omar leaving too?
Speaking of fancy musicals, I went to see one of the. Well, here's a Joel thing I did. You're asking what I do in my free time.
boy.
Dana got me tickets to see A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder last weekend, which is a Tony Award-winning musical that we were not able to get tickets for in New York, and it was fucking
a question.
great.
I have a
Joel's
question,
talking about
Joel.
all the identifiable things that 16.
Hey, it's a Joel cast.
I
It's
have
a
a
Joel
question.
cast.
Joel.
Joel, don't let Bruce extinguish your light.
And a
you shine
gentleman's
on.
guide to whatever it was.
I'm curious, how many musicals are not Tony Award winning?
Yeah.
Because I've never ever heard the name of a musical if it's not preceded by Tony Award
Let me
winning.
tell you something about Tony Awards.